All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly alone in a room. There is a way where you can almost instantly be content with solitude. I'll explain how I came across this. It's something you can easily do as well. Throughout my youth, I would always camp with my family. Really enjoyed it. I stopped doing this for a while. When I got older, I went with a group of people for a couple of years camping. We were in an area where our cell phones didn't work. Every time I went camping, when I was in nature, I noticed that I just lost the urge to pick up my phone and go on YouTube or to scroll on whatever my go-to was then. I forgot. I think it was probably YouTube. It took maybe a day or two, and then this urge just went away. I was okay with performing simple tasks like gathering wood, making fires, cooking. When I came back home to everyday life, this lasted for a couple of days. Like I didn't want to go to my phone. It almost felt like gross to want to, pick up my phone and distract myself. Eventually, I got back into the habit of it. I would, get back into, looking at news, going at whatever algorithm I was going on. I went through this 5, 10 times. And eventually I realized this is our natural way of being that we've lost. So to find this, yes, being in nature, going camping, this is almost like you're getting halfway there. You're not exactly alone in solitude, but you're really cutting yourself off from all the distractions that usually, pop up in your life or that you seek out to stimulate yourself. It's not some mystical state. It is something that we just are born with. And once you can tap back into this, then your life becomes so much more pleasant. If you have goals that you want to achieve, strong goals, and you have a purpose in your life, then it's so much easier to just go step by step and do the things you need to do. A lot of them probably being boring to you right now. I'm going to try to do something crazy. I'm going to try and teach you how to meditate in just a couple of minutes. And if you already meditate, you can just skip this. Or if you're not really interested in this right now, skip it and come back. But I think I can do it, and let's try. I'll be honest with you. I didn't learn how to meditate just on my own very quickly. I took classes, and it wasn't some crazy intense process, but there was some guidance. The reason why I think you can learn how to do this on your own is because there's this guy named Naval Ravikant, and he did this, and I can just tell that he is meditating the right way, whatever that means. But what he basically did was he saw videos or read ideas of Krishnamurti, basically. And Krishnamurti was this famous guru. You should look him up if you've never heard about him. He has a crazy backstory. In any case, Krishnamurti didn't really believe in meditation. He believed in just awareness, that in everyday life, you just should be aware of everything around you, and that you shouldn't try and stop your thoughts, but just, don't hold on to them. Just if you do have thoughts, you're aware of them. If you see something happening around you, you're aware of that. And it's all about awareness. Naval Ravikant took this idea, and other people have done this as well, but he decided that he was going to meditate based on this. What he did was just decide to sit, to be aware, and just let what happens happen. Take, I would say, 10 minutes every day. Commit to doing this for 10 minutes every day for 30 days. If you're not going to do that, just don't even try it, because this is going to be difficult and you got to get past a certain point to understand what's happening. So what you're going to do is simply sit in a spot that's dedicated to meditate, and you're just going to sit there and become aware of what's happening. If thoughts come in your head, observe them, don't fight them, just let them pass. If you start thinking about how something hurts, that's what you're doing. You're thinking about that hurting. Just try not to hold on to those feelings. There's a couple of helpful things that you should know. The first is this. Think of a thought right now. Think of a purple elephant. Okay, close your eyes, think of a purple elephant. Okay, now think of another thought. Okay, you see in between when you were thinking of a purple elephant and you were thinking of another thought, there was pretty much nothing. It's debatable if there is actually nothing going on, but there's no gross thought there. There's no big thought. There's like an emptiness there. So experiment with this, thinking one thought and then trying to think another one and seeing the gap in between. When you're sitting, it's very useful to try and meditate on this space. So you're in awareness, but if you do need to focus on one thing, you could focus on this type of silence in between thoughts. It should be a joyful process. I mean, that's the whole reason why we're doing this, to be okay with being alone and finding the bliss in solitude. So when you're sitting, even though, it might be hard at the beginning, you're going to have a lot of racing thoughts. The end goal is that it should be enjoyable. You got to be okay with having all these thoughts come up. You're basically just processing them. They're in your body, they're in your subconscious, and they're coming up. And if you have a lifetime of these stored up, it's going to take a while for them to all come up, for you to process them. And look at it like exercise, like you're doing something very good, like a detox. You're cleansing yourself of these thoughts. Don't get stuck on any thoughts. Don't get stuck on anything. Just be aware. And if you want to focus on something, focus on that silence between thoughts. If you do this, this is really going to supercharge your journey. You're going to be able to get to this state where you're okay doing simple things with being alone. You're going to get there very quickly. Before we move on to probably the most powerful thing you need to do to get to this state and to really just improve your life a lot, we need to understand distractions more, because this is the battle we're fighting. To enjoy being alone by ourselves, we need to be okay with not distracting ourselves. What we need to realize is that all of these things, all of these stimulations outside of us are extremely powerful, and they are good. They do make you feel good. To try and convince yourself that they are bad and you don't need them is just not true. Going on your phone, scrolling, looking at news, looking at social media, alcohol, any type of drugs, a lot of food, sugar, all of these stimulating things, these distractions, they are good. They make you feel good. And the thing that's not good about them is the repercussions that afterwards, they just bring you down. Anytime you just try and quit something cold turkey, when you just tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do whatever it is, I'm not going to look at my phone every 5 minutes, then you really want to do it. When you set up a fight, it becomes very difficult. The better thing to do, the easier thing to do, in my opinion, is to accept that it's part of your life right now. Be okay with it, know you're trying to change, and then compartmentalize it. So basically what this means is, let's just take the phone example. What we're going to stop doing is looking at it every 5 minutes and distracting ourselves when we're bored. What we can do is schedule an amount of time. So say there's 20 minutes in the day at a certain time, you know that you're going to want to chill and just, veg out, then that's fine. Do that, enjoy that, be in the moment while doing that. What you're fighting is the impulse to always distract yourself from just everyday life. It's very possible that you have been programmed to want to do this, that essentially you have been conditioned in your life to not be happy, to need these types of distractions in order to make yourself feel better. Bessel van der Kolk, Paul Conti, Gabor Mate. I've read all of their books. I'm really fascinated with this idea of like trauma when you're young, or just like bad circumstances, and how your body can hold on to this stuff and it just messes you up. That's the bottom line. You need to shine a light on these problems. When you do, when you shine a light on shadows, they disappear. So you need to really introspect. You need to know, why do you feel like you need to go to your phone so much? Why do you have this base level of anxiety? For me personally, when I was young, I felt unsafe. I know that just from my circumstances, not that I even remember it, but I know I have this base level of anxiety that has just been pre-programmed into me. And the way to get rid of it is very simple. You need to know where it comes from. When these feelings pop up, just basically reassure yourself that they're wrong. Have an affirming type of statement. When I have anxiety for no reason, I just tell myself everything is good. These traumas, or whatever you want to call them, we make a big deal out of them, but what they really are just habitual thought patterns. They are thoughts that have embedded within us and that we repeat to ourselves. And the easiest way to counter them is with another thought. And it's not easy. It's difficult. It's just like if your posture is bad, it's really hard to just stand up straight all the time. But that's what you're doing mentally here. You're looking at all the reasons, all these thoughts that make you anxious, that make you depressed. And if you can address these a lot of times are the source of why we feel like we need all these like stimulating things, especially like addictions. When you have a lot of anxiety or depression, you don't even kind of realize it. But a lot of people who drink or smoke or do whatever, it's because they do want to get rid of this anxiety. And I was like this for a while and I didn't even realize it. I just felt like, you know what? I like to drink, so that's what I want to do. But as time went on, I realized this wasn't true. There was a deeper source, and you should really look into this. You should really just follow this advice. Just know where this anxiety, know where this depression came from, and really just try and fight it. Fight it on an everyday level. I can't emphasize enough how much better your life will be. I really feel bad for people who live in a constant state of anxiety because I was one of those people. I remember it. I remember how horrible it felt and just this low level of malaise that I had that just kept sucking me down farther and farther from the life that I wanted. You need to experience yourself. I can tell you how great it is. I can tell you that you will be able to accomplish all the things you want to accomplish in your life. But me saying this is not going to do anything. You need to start making the steps to get there and just get that first glimmer of it. When you get that, then you're on your way. You must have a room or a certain hour or so a day where you don't know what was in the newspapers that morning. You don't know who your friends are. You don't know what you owe anybody. You don't know what anybody owes you. This is a place where you can simply experience and bring forth what you are and what you might be. This is the place of creative incubation. At first, you may find that nothing happens there, but if you have a sacred place and use it, something eventually will happen. You need to go in a room. You need to figure out where your creativity is, what your passion is in life. And this doesn't mean you need to quit your job and change the course of your life, but you do need to find what you're really interested in. Like, it could be anything. It could be finance, could be UFOs, could be baking, cooking, martial arts, any type of sport, something that you're obsessed with. You need something to live for. If you have this is what drives you. This is what will give you energy. And this is why you want to go on this journey in the first place. You need to find these activities in your life that really give you joy, that, as Joseph Campbell said, give you bliss. His main advice was to find your bliss. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. I really do hope you get to the point where you can enjoy being on your own, being in solitude, not having to distract yourself. It really will change your life for the better. Like I said, me saying it is one thing, but just go for it. Experience it for yourself, and you'll be glad you did. See you guys next time.